Okay, so this video will look at the tick distance counter and the rest of the indicators below it. We'll try and get through a few of them. So tick distance counter is a very simple one. We covered it briefly when we were going through the analytical bars and the DTB bars. It's going to just give you the value of how many ticks the price is away from a baseline. So you can choose what font size you want and your coloring, but whatever baseline size you add, whether it is a flat or a trending baseline, if you put that value on, it's going to tell you how many ticks the price is away from that baseline. So depending on what signals you are getting from your signal chart, if you want to enter a position, you could basically enter that, have your target as the baseline, have your stop as where the baseline would go to break. If you can catch a nice long wick like that, that'll be brilliant. I know we looked earlier at some options with the shadow trading indicator with a nice signal at the bottom, but we'll come back and look at that another time of how to actually trade these wicks. As a very quick little one, I was just looking at this last chart. The close of 1 day ago was that amount over there. So if I look at this chart here, so 13,500 was the close of 1 day ago, and this chart basically went all the way down to 13,500. So as an idea, that could have been a place to enter a position based on the price bouncing off the close of 1 day ago. But we'll look at that, some options in a later video on how to actually trade this. So tick distance counter tells you the value of ticks the price is away from the baseline, minus obviously for below and plus for above. The next indicator that we have is also for the trending and the flat baselines. So this is just the same or different instances of the same indicator. So the ticks above, below baseline. So that is, you can load various instances of this indicator at custom values. So I've added 4 instances, 50 ticks, 100, 150, 195. And the bar is at 195. And then what that does is it's just going to draw these lines with the values next to them to tell you, so you can see how far price is. So obviously if you prefer just to use this, that's good, but this is a nice little visual thing to give you a, just those cited markers basically of price. So you'd know if the price goes to the 195, that's where a new baseline would break or form. So that's what this price has been doing. It's actually had a very straightforward move this over the last 2 days. So we've basically had from the 17th of May, it's gone all the way down, and then on the 19th of May at 1 o'clock, it broke to a new baseline and has been going up ever since. So that is beautiful to see. Not much of a deviation in there. It's just been a simple, straightforward run up. So again, if you take any of these wicks, like a wick like that, you're looking at 80 odd ticks. So these values are from the current, where the current bar is. So those are the values from the current bar. Okay, next indicator is the trade support. So the trade support indicator is basically going to give you time and sales. So it's going to have time and sales built into it. These little numbers you are seeing is the tick distance of that dot away from price. So that's just going to tell you how many ticks away the price is from that. Obviously when it's touching the price, it's 0. Same there, it's a 0 because it's touching the price. So they are good, if you are in a short position as an example, and you've got a beautiful long running trend, that's a good way to also keep you in a position for longer. Again, if you're adding a few different instances of indicators and you're looking at the shadow trading as an indicator to apply to your chart, I love referring to the shadow trader indicator because it is such a powerful indicator. I think it should be on every single chart that you have, just because of the incredible accuracy of that indicator. Now when you load in the shadow trading, it does paint bars, so I would click on the trade support, and I would actually, so while it's calculating, it's another little tip about NinjaTrader. While the chart is calculating, do not touch anything on the screen. Do not click on anything, because it will crash NinjaTrader, and you'll more than likely lose your workspace too. So add an indicator, click on apply, and just wait for it to finish calculating. And sometimes it might take a bit longer, sometimes a bit shorter, but make sure you do not touch anything on the screen, because it definitely will crash NinjaTrader. So I'm just going to wait for this to finish calculating, and then we'll move on. Okay, there we go. So it finished calculating. I'm going to go to the trade support, and I'm just going to remove the paint bars from there, because that could clash with the indicator for shadow trading. So I'm going to apply that, wait for it to finish calculating. Okay, and then once that's been applied, I'm just going to click on the cancel. So there we go. So you've got your shadow trading giving you multiple signals, jumping in, momentum line up and down, momentum line up and down. It's now dropped right below price. I'm just not sure about the positioning of this, because I don't see the red line. Once you've got the red line lined up on the far right of the chart, it will be good. But that's going to give you a signal in real time of the shadow trading and the price dropping right below. And if you want to brave to stay in the position for longer, you can do so by watching the trade support. So I guess it's just another little filter to look at. You know, obviously we don't know, this price could shoot up and go above the trade support. In that case, you wouldn't have made a huge profit on this move. But sometimes it might pay just to be a bit patient, watch what price is doing. Only at this stage over here do we have a really, really good signal in the opposite direction. As you can see, the momentum line is shooting up beautifully. At that stage was a great signal. I would have taken that for sure. But as soon as that price drops, I would have exited that position. Momentum line is facing down. So you're waiting, waiting, waiting. And then you've ultimately got another beautiful signal over here. The price didn't come down like I would have liked it to, but this one proved to be beautiful. You're in the trade support has given you a nice signal below. Momentum line is right up. You're watching the price, and unfortunately exit again. So yeah, you just sometimes you will catch a good move running up. And other times it'll just quickly turn around, and that's just the nature of trading, I guess. So monitor. So that's trade support gives a little bit of assistance in that. If you feel that it's just too much to look at and it's just another thing, and you're missing out signals, just remove it off your chart. But if you are going to use it, combine it with shadow trading and catch signals. So especially when you're seeing price break through the trade support, momentum line facing down, sometimes you can get really beautiful signals on it. Exit like you see over there. The price is so far from this trade support, I'm not going to risk it going all the way back up there. That's a beautiful move coming down. So a good time to exit, and thank goodness we would have, because that's another run up in price. So there we go. So that is just that indicator. I combined it with the shadow trading. Okay, the next indicator is the trading lines. Okay, so this is quite a cool indicator as well. Trading lines, let's have a look at the settings. Okay, so you've got 5 days worth of details on this chart. So because you've got 5 days, always just make sure that you are loading up at least 5 days on your chart. So 10 days, if you're going to use this indicator, use about 10 days of data will be fine. But load up your trading lines, and it's going to give you the different colors for the different days. It's going to show you, you can click on a few options to show that the lines. It's going to give you, you can choose extra lines too. You don't want to use forced lines onto screen because it'll compact the chart. So this is going to give you pivot points too. So it's going to give you pivot points, and it's going to, you can make this work on each tick, that is fine. But what this does is it's actually going to give you the last 5 days of open, highs, lows, and closes. So as soon as that has just loaded, there we go. So it's going to show you the close of 1 day ago, the high of 1 day ago. It's going to show you the current high of the day. So this green line is the high. So that's the high, which is today. And it's going to give you pivot points that you can use to exit and enter positions. If price is bouncing off specific opens and closes, those are great to look out for. I'm going to just go down on this chart because the previous days, the data was right down there. So that's going to give you like the high of 3 days ago, the high of 5 days ago, close of 5 days ago, close of 5, high of 4 days ago, close of 4 days ago, high of 2 days ago, and close of 2. So all of these are going to be showing on your chart. Obviously the price has gone very, very far from where it was over here, but these levels will all show on your chart, and they can come into play if the price is, you know, bouncing. If all those levels are in a close proximity, you could see price bouncing off those levels. So they're just good to have as well. So really cool indicator to use, the trading lines. Great, I'll cover the next ones.